Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Rise of the Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Kara.
This is our first actual podcast. We have a lot of fun stuff that we, haven't been really sticking to the podcast theme, but that's why we're here today. So
this will be our first podcast for you guys. We're really excited just to kind of talk about things that we like, about Star Wars mostly.
Right. For right now, that's like the hot thing this year. I've been telling Kara that this is the year of Star Wars. With all the movies that are going to come out this year and the announcements that they've made.
Galaxy's Edge is opening up. There's going to be Vader Immortal. Just some of the things we're going to talk about today.
Disney Plus, the streaming service,
Plus,
and all
sure.
the new shows.
Mandalorian. So. There's a lot coming out.
So, well, let's do a little bit of a recap. What inspired us to do this podcast?
I think it was mostly our love for Star Wars, and then what really gave us a push was going to the Star Wars celebration.
I cannot believe how much fun I had at the Star Wars celebration. To just put it into my own words here. So the Star Wars celebration, we got there. Kara was dressed up the second day, but the first day we got a chance to just go around and see everything Star Wars related. We met 501st. 501st is just a group of people that dress up as Empire-themed characters from Star Wars. They had multiple booths there. They had a gun from Hoth and a couple snowtroopers running it. We got to fire that gun. They had an Ewok, the recreation of the Return of the Jedi set up there. They had
Palpatine's throne on the Death Star sitting there. And all of these sets that were there, people could interact with. So I was able, in my Ahsoka costume, I was able to actually go and sit in Palpatine's throne, which was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was like a photo booth. So we could
was.
actually just sit there and take your pictures. And what was really fun was, so Thursday, it wasn't really that busy. So the lines weren't that bad. We were able to get into a lot of the places pretty quickly.
And it was nice, too. Jeremy and I wanted to get pictures together with some of the sets. And so there were 501st members there, and they actually took the picture for us. So it was really nice that it wasn't just Jeremy taking a picture of me and then me taking a picture of Jeremy. We could actually get pictures together, too.
One of the coolest displays they had was a recreation of the Millennium Falcon interior.
That was awesome. That was great.
That was really awesome.
That one had a decent line for it. I think that was probably the most popular one that people wanted to go to.
All the time. It was about over 45 minutes every single day, at least, at the bare minimum.
But it's nice. Like, I mean, you're surrounded by Star Wars people. And so we sat and we chit-chatted with a couple the entire time we were waiting in line. So that was a lot of fun for me. We found out that they like PSYCH, and in our group of chit-chatters, Jeremy's the only one who doesn't like PSYCH.
I haven't seen it, what do you expect? Never had seen that one, but... So not to mention, one of the other really cool things to be a part of, panels are really popular. There's a lot of opinions on panels and the way they did them this year. Yeah. They did a lottery system this year, so we didn't get a...
We didn't get a single thing. The only thing we got selected for was the Hasbro toys that you could get. Action figures, sorry.
Yeah, the con exclusives. But we did get to see, they did drop Episode 9 trailer there, which is called The Rise of Skywalker.
I'm so excited for that. Oh my gosh. But even though we weren't able to actually be in the convention center where the actual panel was being held, they did live stream it. So we were able to stand in the crowd and actually see it being live streamed. So it was like we were experiencing it, just not in the same room as everybody else.
Yeah, you could hear a pin drop while the trailer came up.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Everyone went quiet, and then at key moments in the trailer, the fans exploded with excitement, and it was really fun. People were watching it right after on YouTube on their phones while we were waiting in lines, and just seeing that hype and the energy, it is an experience that I'll never forget.
Oh,
and
never.
Because of that, we are absolutely going to do whatever it takes to get to Anaheim next year, which is where the next Star Wars celebration is going to be in 2020. Yep. The dates are not released yet, but we were going to keep all of you posted, and we're also going to do a video, keep an eye out for, that talks about maybe
the top 10 tips for going to a Star Wars celebration.
Because there's some things that we missed out on being the first ones, or that we got late to, that would have been really nice to know ahead of time. And I see the question posted quite often, so we're going to definitely cover that information, and that'll be good for all you guys to have. So with that being said, what are some other things, like we've got awesome Star Wars news coming out.
Yeah. Galaxy's Edge. Disney recently has posted a few new things about what to expect with Galaxy's Edge. Like, we've already known that the Millennium Falcon's going to be a thing, and we knew you were going to be able to build your own lightsaber and your own droid. So we'll kind of go into that. But then just 2 days ago, I think it was, they posted what kind of foods they're going to have. And this is actually, I think, could be one of the first places where you can actually get adult beverages. So there's going to be 3 different places that you can buy food at. There's going to be Oga's Cantina, and I think that's the only bar type thing you can go to. And then there's going to be the Docking Bay 7 Food and Cargo and the Ronto Roasters, whatever that is. But I know they definitely teamed up with some brewers and some winemakers to actually make specific wines and beers for Galaxy's Edge. So that's going to be cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
As a huge Star Wars fan, they've had Harry Potter Land, they've had all these other theme parks, but this is going to be the first major Star Wars based theme park, and I am beyond excited to experience it. Not to mention, I have never been to Disney World or Land.
Me either.
So it'll be a first for both of us. But hearing the attention to detail that they put in, they really built this park, I think, with a fan in mind. And that's what's got me excited, to walk in and fully be immersed in an environment that was built for Star Wars fans. I get to experience what it's like to run into a droid. Like Kara mentioned, some of the stores there's going to be a droid depot. You get to go in there and you make your own droid.
They're mini droids, they're not full size, but yeah, you get to go in, and there's going to be a conveyor belt that's got all these droid parts. So you basically get to pick what your droid's going to look like. And then you can pick their personality. Jeremy asked me earlier, he was like, well, can there be a cantankerous droid? Because
Chopper is one of my favorites, and he is just so he's cantankerous. He's just so feisty. He's chucking rocks at people or interfering all the time, and just
in the game we play Galaxy of Heroes on our iPhones, and one of his moves is called Reckless Fling. It's actually really funny. He just takes some rocks and he just whips it at the person you're attacking. It's super funny.
So it's really fun. That personality would be one I would go for. I would like to have a mischievous little droid like Chopper. And R2 has his own mischievousness.
R2's the best. Come on.
He's got his own things. But what's fun is you go in and you would take your son or daughter or your adult fan with.
Who needs a son or daughter when you can just do it yourself?
Or take us. We'll love to go with you. So
adopt us.
You go in and then you get to design this droid around the things that you like. And when you take them out into the park, if you run into a protocol droid or a mouse droid or these other droids, your droid will interact with that droid. They'll have a conversation. They might avoid each other depending on if you run into, I would personally avoid BB-9E. I mean, he is mean, right?
He's a jerk.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
I mean, spoiler alert, but he ratted out everybody on the Dreadnought in episode 8.
He did.
So luckily BB-8 was a master of disguise, and we rewatched episode 8 on May 4th for Star Wars Day. That was the movie we picked, and it was really fun to see BB-8 imitating a mouse droid.
Well, the sounds at least.
Burp, burp,
Very
burp,
large mouse droid.
So it's so fun. But so that's just one aspect, right? Even the hotel room, there's going to be hotel rooms that are associated with Star Wars where it looks like you're staying inside of a spaceship and what it would be like. You get to go fly the Millennium Falcon.
And I've heard that based on how well you fly the Falcon, you'll either get big kudos and everybody will know how well you did, or everybody will know how poorly you did. So make sure you fly well.
Brush up on your flying, play some old school video games. There's some great ones out there. I remember growing up playing, it was Jedi Counselor. You got to fly a Jedi Counselor ship. And it was on the GameCube, and I just remember throwing that game in and firing up and pretending like I was, doing a tack run on Camino or something, or, protecting the clones and, stuff like that. So
Jeremy would be one of the best pilots in the galaxy. When it comes to flying games, I'm no good.
In my personal opinion, Battlefront 2 had a frustrating release because the developers put in loot boxes, and that's a hot topic, hot controversy
We
item.
can talk about that later.
With that aside, they've definitely added a lot of free content over the years, but when it comes to Starfighters, that's one of the best game modes I've ever played. It makes you feel, you can put yourself in first person, and it makes you feel like you're actually flying a Star Wars spaceship, which, as you can see from majority of the Lego builds that we're going to do, are all ships, because the ships of Star Wars are amazing.
They are. They did really well.
All of the movies have done an incredible service to the ships. I mean, let's just talk about that for just a second. You've got the Rogue One, when they attack Scarif, the tropical planet where the Death Star plans are hidden. Amazing fight scene. They've got, where they admitted they were inspired from A New Hope. You've got in the new one, you've got when Chewie comes in with the Porgs and saves everyone on the salt planet.
Great.
And so, I mean, you've just got all these great iconic Star Wars battles. They always do such a good job with the ships.
They do.
So to see, like, to walk up and actually see the Millennium Falcon live in person and be able to go and, walk in and fly it is going to be an absolute amazing experience.
I'm really excited for it.
So with that being said, back to Galaxy's Edge, the other really cool things are the vendors. So when you go to the vendors, they're going to treat you like you were actually in a Star Wars universe. They're going to like pull you aside, or they might actually give you a hard time for something you're buying. They're going to all be themed to you, but the lightsaber part is so cool.
Yes.
Kara, tell about like how the lightsaber works.
Well, basically, before you can even get into the lightsaber area, I was reading up on it, you actually have to gather information and figure out what the password is. And once you finally figure out what the password is, you're going to be able to go to Savvy's scrapyard and knock on the door and give the password. If it's correct, they're going to let you in. And so basically, Savvy, who's a junker, he has hired all these gatherers, and they've gone out and they've gathered kyber crystals and other things that you need to build your lightsaber.
The handle, the blades.
Right, just all the pieces that you need. And then once you're actually in there, you get to choose between 4 different options, I guess. So one of them is the Peace and Justice kind of lightsaber that you want. It's got a really simple design from what I've read. And then the story behind it is the pieces came from fallen Jedi temples and starships. So that's kind of fun. Like I said, it's got a more simple design. Another one that they have is Power and Control, which obviously is Sith. So it's going to have a lot of sharp design, like just angles, dark looking, and that is from the rumored Sith world, his home world. So that's kind of where they got all of their items from. Then there's the elemental nature, which is pretty obvious. It comes more from nature. You're going to have a lightsaber made out of wood, out of bone, out of tooth, stuff like that.
There's some Wookiee Jedis that, in like Rebels and Clone Wars show where you'll get to see like a wood lightsaber, and a Wookiee uses that one, which was really cool. So it gives you that option to tie into your favorite part of the story. And
so the lore with that one is the Force is flowing through that one. The Force and everything living is just flowing through that lightsaber. So if you want a more natural looking lightsaber, that'd be the one to go for. We saw one actually at the Star Wars Celebration, and it looked awesome. I'm almost tempted to go for that one because it's kind of cool. And then the final one is the protection and defense one. So that was my favorite Jedi, Kenobi. He totally that's his go-to fighting style. He always throws it back. His fight against Dooku in Episode 2, he holds his own because he goes back to the basic style, and Dooku can't quite figure it out because it's something the way like a Padawan would fight, and I've always loved it. So that's he's got his blue lightsaber, and that was probably the one that I would go with because I love Obi-Wan. With all that, so then they come with a blade. You buy all the pieces, and then you get a blade, and then if you do switch the kyber crystals out to a different color, the blade is compatible with all the kyber crystals. So you can get one blade and one hilt, but different crystals. And that's so if you have a son or daughter who wants to play with these things, and then they want to switch it up, maybe play with their friends, and they want to take on the role of Darth Vader, who's awesome. Be Darth Vader, they can switch out to a red crystal and then recreate that iconic character and be that. So, I mean, if you can really wrap your mind around what it would be like to walk through this park, I mean, we are both super excited to go. We're going to have to plan on when to go. It opens up in California on May 31st. Yes, and then Disney World is going to be August 29th. Yes, August 29th. Right now, up through June 23rd, you need to make a reservation. I'm pretty sure they're completely sold out of those.
It took a couple hours, and that was it.
And the thing is, it's only a 4-hour time that you get to be there. Once your 4 hours is up, from what I understand,
ask you to leave.
You have to leave.
And make room for the next group of people.
So we obviously did not even go for those 4 hours. We're going to wait until we can actually spend a good chunk of time there, which I'm really looking forward to. Again, since we've never been to Disney World, we're kind of stoked.
It's going to be fun. I really do give a lot of credit for Disney's decision to buy, into Star Wars, because they're able to take that story and pick it up and keep running with it, and giving us more things to look forward to. The whole environment takes place on a planet called Batuu, which you can find a little bit more about Batuu in a book called Thrawn Alliances. And it covers the story of how Anakin and Thrawn worked together in the past, and then how they get paired together again in the future. what's fun about Star Wars is, at least for I know for me, the movies give you one perspective, but there's so much content that you can consume at your own pace that really fills in Star Wars and stuff like that. Like Princess Leia of Alderaan. Is that the name book?
Leia of Alderaan.
Leia of Alderaan has Holdo in it.
Yeah, so in The Last Jedi, Holdo just appears out of nowhere as this admiral, this rebel hero admiral, and everybody's like, who's Holdo?
Right.
And so in this book, you actually find out that she's a longtime friend of Leia's. Highly recommend you listen to it.
It's an excellent book.
Yeah, and if you like audiobooks, just going to kind of give a little shout out. Local libraries do a thing called Overdrive, an app for your phone. You can download it, use your card to actually download these books, which is what we've done. And that's how I listen to it. Automatically returns it for you, so try that out.
Yeah, it's no late fees or anything like that. They have a couple different apps, but the general principle is libraries will absolutely rent you books, and they encourage it. It makes all this content available for everyone. Even if you can't afford to pick up the stories, you can still listen to them and read them. And they have ebooks as well. And that's awesome the way that they work. So,
but that's just kind of how we've heard about this. But yeah, you find out Holdo is, like I said, a longtime friend of Leia's, and she's actually a really cool character that grows on you. She's kind of quirky, kind of like, I feel like me.
Kara's the Holdo.
Yeah, the Holdo.
Yeah. So that's just a little bit of an insight into what is coming out soon. So we can't wait for it to actually be available to the public. We are going to definitely be going down there, and we'll try to get some footage of our trip down there when we go. Oh, for
sure. And then, something else that is kind of cool about Galaxy's Edge, they're not going to have any big, it's going to be big labels, but nothing is going to have a big label on it. So, I saw a bottle of Coca-Cola that they're going to be selling, and it doesn't say Coca-Cola in English on it. It's actually the Star Wars font that they use that says Coca-Cola. The bottle's a completely different shape. So I'm kind of excited. Like I said, they're actually going to fully immerse you into Star Wars. It's not like, wandering around a normal theme park. Like I said, you're going to be immersed. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited.
So that's one of the big things. We're waiting for that. So we'll keep you posted on any new Galaxy's Edge stuff that we hear about.
Yeah, as we find out about it for sure.
One of the other things we're going to be excited about, I'm going to post a blog and some links in the description. But on May 4th, Lucasfilm also announced the road to Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
So with that being said, it's a bunch of books, stories, audiobooks that are going to fill in background pieces to the new movie, which is really exciting because now you can start to learn that content that surrounds the movie and what it'll be about before the actual movie comes out.
Well, because in the episode 9, the episode 9 panel that they did at the celebration, I think J.J. Abrams said it's been a good 5 years between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker.
Right.
And so these books are going to kind of help fill that gap to figure out, what's Rey been up to, what's Finn been up to, how is the Resistance moving along. And so it's going to be fun to hear what's been happening, not just go from, here we are at the end of The Last Jedi to, with them leaving on the Millennium Falcon, all of a sudden to, 5 years later, what happened?
Right.
So
a really good book that does fill in between The Force Awakens and Return of the Jedi is called Bloodlines. And that was written, I'm not going to say who, I don't want to say the wrong one. But Bloodlines is an absolutely great book. It covers Leia's leaving the rebellion and helping to start building up a new Senate to, be back to what it used to be in the Star Wars galaxy with the Republic running everything. And you learn how politics become gridlocked, and then there's inaction. And inaction is what causes a lot of problems in the Star Wars galaxy.
Yes.
Is them not being able to make these decisions quick enough to, what people need answers. So then that causes the turmoil and the rift between two different types of mindsets. And the book is absolutely incredible. They have some great characters. Ransom Casterfo goes and he's
no spoilers.
He's obsessed with historical empire, and he believes that he can learn from the empire's mistakes by studying the empire.
Yeah. And he collects old old empire artifacts, armor, helmets, weapons. It's in my opinion, his collection's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And that kind of ties into Rise of the Skywalker, because we see a candid shot or a shot of the Death Star. And how exciting was that scene, you know, when
my
you see him walk up.
gosh.
And we have no idea where it's going to be interesting to see how that plays in to the Star Wars story. Are they going there for an artifact? What's with Palpatine's laugh?
Right.
What's going to happen with that?
Well, Ian McDermott, from what I've heard, he was there's some people that went up for his autograph after the release at the convention, at the Star Wars Celebration, and they asked him directly about it, and his answer was kind of like he didn't even know what was going on. So is he actually in it, or are they just messing with us? I don't know.
Right. Was it, you know, is he in it, or is it just going to be, you know, he's kind of like hanging out hot in the place, or what's going on? Because that was the last place.
Well, yeah.
He was, you know, seen alive, was on the second Death Star.
And when he was on stage, right after the episode 9.
Epic.
Well, that was epic, but from what I've heard, he was just told, go on stage, say this. That's it. He had no idea. I was like, oh, okay. So, I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out. So, Star Wars Celebration, big deal. We got to see all that stuff new. We got to see some Star Wars Galaxy's Edge stuff, which got us really excited.
Mm-hmm.
On a quick note to that, too, they had merchandise. And I am
Yes.
so excited to see the merchandise. For years,
too.
people get Star Wars licensing and they make so much stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
to have a unique set of stuff that you normally wouldn't get. Kara's favorite character, one of her favorite characters, is Ahsoka.
I love her.
If you look at the epic scene between Ahsoka and Darth Vader in Rebels, I believe it's season 2. I just did a rewatch of that episode. Did you know there's a convor in that scene?
Is there?
There is. There's a convor in the scene, and as the door closes to the temple, and we see the cutaway shot from Ahsoka.
Is it Mariah pops in there?
But
Is it the green one?
the green one?
Yeah, that's
is
Mariah.
up, and she flies off, and that's a cut later on. One of the exclusive merchandise items was a convor. They're the door. They Velcro to your wrist, and it's just a stuffed animal. But it's
got one. I loved it. It's adorable. My cosplay as Ahsoka. Obviously, I need Mariah as my convor pal. You know.
Right. So it's just like that unique type of merch is, I think, really speaks to a lot of people that it's stuff that they want. And so we saw Hera Syndulla. Oh, her family
she's
has
awesome.
a totem that's passed down from generation to generation, and Thrawn gets a hold of it at one point. Again, spoiler if you haven't seen Rebels, but they're gonna have that totem for sale. The little stormtrooper doll that Jyn plays with in Rogue One, that's gonna be for sale in that format. This is stuff that it's like an Easter egg of merchandise. It's all the stuff that's in the background shots of your favorite movies and your favorite scenes, but you can actually own in real life.
Yeah.
And then one last thing about the lightsabers is on the wall, they're going to have Star Wars Legends lightsabers. So they're going to have those they're going to have Darth Vader, they're going to have Obi-Wan's.
So if you don't want to make your own lightsaber, you can just buy a pre-made
Legend.
Darth Vader lightsaber, you know. So I mean, I guess if you want an actual movie one, you can get one of those.
That's an option. And so the fact that they did that, they're really, I think, doing an excellent service to the fans. So we're so excited for that.
Yeah.
So Star Wars Celebration was amazing. We highly recommend, if you get a chance, to go to it. If Anaheim is too far out of the way for you, check out. Always keep yourself posted for when the next ones are. They just announced movies through 2026.
Yeah.
There's going to be, I guarantee you, there's going to be the Star Wars Celebration going on for quite a while.
Oh my gosh,
We highly recommend you go to it. Between all the cosplayers and the fans and then the developers, that Star Wars game that we play, the developers were there. And this is a small group of people who actually work on it, relatively speaking. So when we go up to these people and he's like, oh, I designed the Millennium Falcon event.
Right.
And oh, I designed the characters and I designed their kits. Oh, I'm his boss. It was kind of fun, it's kind of fun. And then one of them wanted to take a picture with Kara.
When
so
I was dressed up as Ahsoka, it was actually fun. And while we were standing there, it was before the release of the rework for Ahsoka, Anakin, and
Kenobi.
And he actually came out to me and he was like, oh, we have a rework for your character. I was like, yes.
Insider scoop. Thank you so much, for telling us that.
But yeah, he
awesome.
wanted a picture, and then we just sat and chit-chatted for probably 15 minutes just about the game. It was kind of fun.
It was pretty cool.
And I know they get a lot of grief from the Galaxy of Heroes fan base.
And community.
But after talking with them, they're just people. They're trying to do their best to make the game as good as it can be.
That's a good thing to remember in any type of situation is people on the internet, there is a real breathing, feeling human being on the other end of that username or, gamer tag or whatever. So it's, you might have an opinion and it's really easy to shout it out on the internet in all caps. But remember that, it's a real person that, you could really cause them a lot of undue stress. I heard a really cool quote, and it was, honesty without tact is just cruelty. So you can be honest with someone, but do it in a tactful way that doesn't hurt their feelings.
Constructive criticism.
Give them that constructive criticism that actually,
not
helps them
just
out.
I'm a jerk criticism.
Stuff like that. So, other big Star Wars news is Vader Immortal.
And that's coming up quick.
That is coming out May 21st. I am excited.
Oh my gosh,
First
I am
off,
too.
it is launching on VR. I cannot describe the feeling of what it was like to put on a VR headset for the first time. It's amazing. The way it tracks your vision, you do get completely lost in it.
Oh, you do?
So much you need a playpen to set the boundaries of where you're at.
Yeah, you'll get too close. Like, I swear we've almost knocked our computer off the table a few times playing. We bought an HTC Vive around Christmas time. And now they've announced...
Of course, Beat Saber.
Oh, Beat Saber's amazing. But now they've announced that Vader Immortal is going to be an Oculus exclusive. And so we're just like... Oh.
So we have an HTC Vive. So back in Christmas, we bought that Vive.
Right.
And so Beat Saber is on it is amazing. It is like combining Star Wars with music, rock band.
Well, there's one called I Have the High Ground. It's actually really funny. It's probably, 30-second long song. But all it is Kenobi's move when he slices off Anakin's legs and arms. It's like, it's fun, it's quick, 30 seconds and you're done. But it's like, you feel like a Jedi.
Yeah, it's awesome to see what the community comes up with stuff like that.
Yeah.
So then we saw the Vader Immortal is coming out, and it's exclusive to just Oculus. So now we need to figure out what type of thing we're going to do so that we can enjoy that content. What is amazing is, I talked about seeing the Millennium Falcon in person and live, right?
Right.
And what that was like. The closest thing I've had to that yet was in VR, like in VR. So on the Vive, they have two free
Star Wars games.
They have one where you get to repair BB-8s or like rolly droids like BB-8.
Oh, you get to repair BB-8.
Yeah, BB-8 and then his
And then
friends.
another one.
Yeah. And I would totally take apart BB-9E. Not put them back together. That's just me. Anyway, so you get to do that one, and then they have one where you work. Well, you're Luke's Padawan, and you are stuck on Tatooine, and Han Solo makes a delivery to you. And this is all free. This is done by the same company that...
IMLX Lab?
Yep.
Right?
Yep. That is done by the same company that is making Vader Immortal. So seeing and experiencing what type of content they've already put out has me really excited for what Vader Immortal is going to be.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You are this Padawan, and you're sitting there, and you watch the Millennium Falcon flies over your head, and you're in outer space. Then from there, it puts you on Tatooine, and you hear the roar of the ship come at you. And, I mean, Star Wars, we're going to be talking about this a lot. Star Wars nails sound effects.
Oh, they do.
To me, they're one of the leading.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
They're just, all the sound effects do it. So as the Millennium Falcon comes in, and you hear the roar of the Millennium Falcon, and it sits down in front of you, you hear the whoosh of the air systems and the pneumatic systems, and then the drive, drops down, and out comes R2-D2.
Well, here's what's fun about the Falcon landing. I'm sorry to break your thought process there, but we had a friend over, and he had the Vive on, and all of a sudden the Falcon came up, and we were watching him play, and all of a sudden he ducked down because the Falcon, it seemed like the Falcon was going to land on him, but it's so realistic. It's like he felt like he had to duck to make sure he didn't get nailed in the head. So
to experience the scale of what it was like and have it be that close, I really am excited. You're going to be on Mustafar, on Vader's castle, experiencing, Darth Vader is going to give you missions to do?
No, I believe you go in as a Jedi and you have to make it, you actually fight Vader from what I understand.
Well, I'm going to lose. I may be good with a lightsaber, but I am not Vader level.
I know. So basically you're going to go into the game with your little droid Zoe 3. I think that's how you say it. But you have to make your way through Vader's castle, and you're going to run into enemies, and you're going to have to fight them. I was reading an article, and I think the guy said it's only like a 45-minute playthrough, and when he was done, he felt like there needed to be more. But it's Vader Immortal Episode 1.
So it's going to be released in multiple episodes.
Yeah. But along with going through the Vader's castle, there's also going to be called the lightsaber dojo, and there, from what I've heard, it's a lot more difficult, and you get to see a lot of other characters that you don't see through gameplay. The article I read, which will post below, he was saying that he played through the lightsaber dojo for 3 hours, and he still had time to play. So I'm really looking forward to that part.
Yes.
It's going to be cool.
We've got a short taste of lightsaber battles in VR, or more like augmented reality with the Jedi Challenges. It's a mobile game you put on your phone, and then there's a headset and then a docking station that comes with. The lightsaber battles in that are really fun, but experiencing the free kind of teaser that they gave away, where the Millennium Falcon comes in, and then R2 gives you a lightsaber, and you get to deflect blaster bolts back at stormtroopers. The feel and authenticity of that is just off the charts fun. So just like to be able to play even for 45 minutes through that, or to hop into a dojo and use a lightsaber and fight, it's really going to be an epic battle that's going to be fun. So we're torn between getting there's two types of Oculuses coming out. There's one that hooks up to your computer in a more traditional fashion, and then they have the Oculus Quest, which is a standalone headset, which really piques my interest.
It does, but it's only got like a 2.5 hour battery life. I think that's, for me, like, if we're going to bring it somewhere, let people try it out. I mean, you only have 2 hours.
Right.
I mean, it might be a good reason to get people out the door at one point. There's always that. Here in Minnesota, we have the Minnesota Goodbye, which lasts a good 3 hours.
So there you go. Sorry, you could keep playing, but the battery life's dead. But a good way to kids won't play it too long.
Right. I suppose there's that.
So we'll be looking into. We might throw some info out there on the pros and cons of each one, and if you're stuck on making a decision.
Well, we're going to be getting one.
One of the two.
And when we do, we're going to do.
We're going to do our own review of Vader Immortal. We're going to do an unboxing of the one that we decide to get. Not to mention we're going to go ahead and record our very first experiences with Vader Immortal.
It's going to be so great. I'm so excited.
So that'll be really fun to see. We're going to be, we're going to flip a coin and gets to who gets to go first.
I get to go first.
I get to go first.
Chris, you're going to have to share it with me.
But I still get to go first.
So that comes out May 21st. Of course, we said it was the year of Star Wars, right? So Galaxy's Edge we've covered within a year. Disney streaming service.
Oh my gosh.
Woo! All right. Dave Filoni. Shout out to Dave Filoni. He made a surprise appearance at the Star Wars Celebration. At the
Ahsoka Lives Day.
At the Ahsoka Lives Day. And that was amazing to see. He was there autographing people and talking to people.
I was within like 2 feet of him. I almost died. I was like, it's Dave Filoni.
So Dave Filoni has written and directed most of the episodes in Clone Wars, Rebels TV show, which has one of the best endings to a series I've ever seen. And he is in charge of directing and writing The Mandalorian. It's going to be a live action movie that's launching with Disney streaming service in the fall.
He did Resistance too.
And he's currently in development. Disney's Resistance has been extended for another season, so that got greenlit for another one, which I'm really excited. Another fun, exclusive kind of background merch we got at the Star Wars Celebration was a Gorg.
Yes. You kind of see him in, was it our first episode?
Yeah, introduction.
He made a little appearance.
So that was awesome. So Resistance is still going. That's where he's from. All of this content is going to be available on Disney's streaming service. The Mandalorian, I believe. I mean, don't quote me, but I think that Clone Wars is coming back for people. Disney's pulling their own content off of other streaming services, and they're going to launch it on their own. And at first, I was a little hesitant to sign up. I'm like, I've already, had Netflix for how long? I've had all these other companies for how long, Hulu and stuff like that. And do I really want to subscribe to another one? But hearing it, I'd be willing to definitely give up another service to go with Disney Plus. Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, they're pulling everything, but from what I understand, eventually they want to have their entire Disney collection on the Disney Plus streaming service. I can go back and binge watch all the Disney I want.
All your Disney movies you grew up on, I know that. Made you are who you are today. I mean, those are the movies of our childhood.
I mean, I grew up on Disney princesses,
Absolutely. So it's going to be really fun to see what Disney Plus has to offer. But what they've already made an announcement of is that Mandalorian is going to be huge. And then there's also going to be a rework of the Clone Wars. Or not a rework, another season.
Yes.
Another partial season.
I am so excited.
We get a new version of Ahsoka.
Yep.
She is going to be between young and Fulcrum Ahsoka. So we're really excited to see that. There's already a cosplayer who's working on a cosplay for that.
Not just one. I'm part of the Team Tano cosplay group on Facebook, And there are multiple girls working on getting the newest Ahsoka costume done. It looks sweet. It's the jumpsuit. It's so cool. I'm so excited to see what they do. I still feel I am too tall and too old to do that cosplay, but we'll see. Maybe someday I'll do it.
So all that stuff is going to be on Disney's brand new streaming service. So if November can't come fast enough, although I do want to enjoy the summer. So.
Oh yeah, summers are too short.
So I mean, if you think about it, like I said, this is a year of Star Wars. It's really big. We've got new movie coming out. They've got a new TV shows coming out. They've got a new theme park coming out. It's just Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. Oh, last but not least, Jedi Fallen Order, a brand new Star Wars video game coming out.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that too.
Console PC game that you get to experience the point of view of. This is slightly after Return of the Jedi. Everything's kind of dark, trying to recover from switching over to this new power that be, and you get to play somebody who's force sensitive.
He was a Padawan, from what I understand. And because of Order 66, he's just trying to lay low, not use his force powers, stay off the grid, basically. And then from what I saw in the trailer, at one point he's forced to use his power to save someone else's life. And I think it was someone else's. It may have been his life. It's been a while since I've watched the trailer. And so at that point, he's kind of revealed to everyone, I'm a Jedi. And from there on, from what I understand, he's on the run.
Perfect. And you get to, that adds just that element of, suspense to it, that it's going to be fun. So with all that being said, we have a lot to be able to talk about. We're excited to be able to be a point where you guys can come and we will fill you in on everything that we know and everything that we learn about. There's just so much to look forward to. I can't wait to keep sharing that and doing that stuff. And then not to mention, we have all these other venues that we enjoy doing, and we thought, you know what, it's time to start filling in some of the gaps, because there's plenty of places to get your info from, but there's still things I see that, like 3D printing there's a lot of articles out there, but nothing breaks down really quite clear. So I'm hoping to share some of our builds and some of our prints, stuff like that with everyone, and just, make it easy to get the stuff that we see needs to be addressed. Right. So, and then Kara does an excellent job in her cosplay. And
I'm doing that. I'm working on Siri, like we said before. And honestly, I've gone online to try to find Siri builds. And people have cosplayed as Siri, but they haven't really done a blog or a video on making Siri. So what I'm hoping to do is, while I'm making it, just kind of blog about it and let everybody know, this is what I'm doing, this is what I found worked, this is what I found didn't work. I do have my first blog up, and I'll probably be blogging again, posting another one on Monday, I think.
And that way, Kara's going to share her patterns and some of the things that she's done. So if you want to do a cosplay as Siri, you can at least come and use her patterns and use some of our stuff. We'll upload links to 3D files and stuff like that. And
at some point, I'm going to be getting my Ahsoka patterns uploaded. I definitely made patterns for the dress and all the armor and the Leku, but I'm going to be remaking those.
I think they look great, but you're always your own worst critic, right? So Kara has her things that she sees that she wants to redo, and I can't wait to go out and do a photo shoot with you in that costume, because
I'm excited to do
it's
that
one
too.
thing that we have the stuff. We might as well go out and use it and have fun with it. So one last fun story before we go, I think today, is I just want to do a recap of what it was like in December. When did they announce the Hoth jacket?
Was it December? November?
It was November.
November, I think.
So every year, Columbia does a limited run of Star Wars jackets. And when I saw this year's, it was one that I had to have. And as everybody knows, when you have popular limited release items, people like to buy them and then just resell them. So it makes real fans have to fight through the process of getting one that they want to keep and not just put up for resale. And so they announced this Star Wars jacket, and it is an exact replica of what the crew wore when they shot The Empire Strikes Back in Norway.
Yes. Finns? Sorry if I didn't say that right, but Finns, Norway.
The jacket is awesome. Columbia did this limited run, and they're going to make them available online and then in stores. And when we logged online, Kara and I were both online right at midnight. We hit refresh. The page went down, crashed, nothing was available, and then by the time it came back up, everything was all sold out.
I think they said it sold out in like 2 minutes.
So we looked online, and there happened to be two for sale in the state of two locations in the state of Minnesota that were selling the jacket. And Kara looked at me and she said, "Hey, it's a 3-hour drive, but I'm willing to make it with you." do you want to do this? I had no idea. I was like, do I really want to wake up at 5 a.m. and drive down to the cities and commit to that drive just to get this jacket? But we did it. We did it. We went down and it started to snow as we got closer to the cities. We went to the Columbia store that wasn't in the Mall of America, drove up, and there were already people waiting in line. Kara went and got in line, and then the amazing people that worked at Columbia, they passed out numbers.
Yeah.
So Kara was number 4,
Yep.
and we got to get our jackets. So
That was awesome.
I've talked about doing a photo shoot. My whole tangent on that was I talked about doing a photo shoot with it, and so we had the opportunity to do one just a couple days ago in May when we got hit by a big snowstorm. But we definitely want to do a photo shoot with that one at some point too, because it's kind of fun to do that and recreate these classic scenes. It'd be fun to do one where looks like we're shooting the movie,
Right.
The Empire Strikes Back. So.
Yeah. And then before we finally go out, the 501st posted on the Star Wars Celebration page a little notice, I guess, about a little boy, Brayden Auten. He's just a little kid. Doesn't say how old he is. He probably looks like he's about 8 or 9. But he's waiting for a liver transplant. And his father wrote, and he said, the one thing that's really keeping his spirits up during this whole process of waiting is Star Wars swag, stuff, Star Wars things that people are sending him. So if you feel like you want to send him something, we'll post below the address that you can send things to. He's out in Milwaukee, and he's just a cute kid that loves Star Wars, and he's sitting waiting for a liver. So we'll post the information below, and maybe think about sending him something.
Yeah, if you feel inclined to do that, we're gonna, we'll probably end up sending him something, or for sure we will.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to.
There's not a better way to make someone's day than to do something like that, and especially when it's somebody who truly deserves it. So keep an eye out for that in the description, and we'll do that. Yeah. So I think this was pretty fun for a first podcast.
I had a lot of fun. We're talking Star Wars. What could be better?
So that is all I have. Kara, do you have anything else you want to add?
May the Force be with you.